Hello, David here, and what I have 62 hours on my Gravely 52-inch mower, and I am going to pull a couple of pulleys, and I'll show you that. Actually, I'm going to pull a spindle, so I'll just make this video a spindle video, show you what I'm going to do. Going to inspect it, see how it's doing. As far as this video is concerned, I'm just going to randomly grab one, look at it, show you what I do, check it out. But in fact, I'm going to grab a spindle, I'm going to grab a pulley, and I'm also going to look at the front wheels. But however, like I said in this video, let's just look at this spindle right here on the edge. Alright, so even though it's relatively clean, I'm going to dress up. And the way we used to do that in the industry is you put on some cotton gloves as a liner for all kinds of different reasons, especially in the industry I was in. Then you put on your nitrile gloves. They just slide right on no matter how sweaty your hands are because you have these cotton gloves over top. And it also makes glove change out very easy. If this becomes all greasy and nasty and gooey, you can take the old one off and put a new one on, zip, 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 no matter how hot and sweaty or whatever else is going on. So that's what we do in industry. Now let's get to taking this cover off. Okay, it looks like 14 millimeter with a 3-inch extension is going to be enough to take this nut loose here, and I need to make sure I'm going in the right direction before I pull the trigger. And I did have to flip the direction, but I wanted to point out that the hole in the extension had to line up with the ball there, because otherwise it was kept falling off and falling off. And there really is not anything on the socket. Oh, liar. Here's make sure that's lined up, stays together. Make a lot of noise. Do that 2 more times. And I want to have an organizer of some sort. Put all my parts in so that they don't fly all over the place. Alright, this should be ready to remove. I think these are carriage bolts. Oh, there's a washer there. That's pretty interesting. So I'm going to look at these a little closer, but the whole exercise is this spindle right here. It's not a spindle. It's not a pulley. It's a spindle. Okay, so I think what I would like to do is get this belt off first. So I'm just gonna walk it off. I can walk it off one way or another. I think I'm gonna have some fun doing that. So it looks to me the best way to relieve the belt tension is to walk it off the center pulley, which I missed it that time. There we go. Of course, my hand is in the way. If I got it, see it walking up here. Make sure I don't pinch my hand. And there it is. Of course, it was off camera, but when I took the belt off, this spun freely. That's the blade. As a matter of fact, it feels ridiculously smooth. Crap. Pulley smooth. Smooth. Pulley smooth. Alright, well, my bearing inspection there is over. I don't need to take these apart. I mean, I could take them apart and grease them up, but there's there's nothing wrong there. So this video's kind of shot. All right, with the belt off, I'm going to inspect it. So that's one thing. Next, I'm going to pull this pulley off of here. There it go. I'm going to have to jam it. See these two holes here? I can put a screwdriver through there and jam it up. I can also probably hold the blade. All right, let me put a block of wood underneath here, and you're seeing me kind of stumble along, as it were. All right, now let's take this pulley off, see how nice and smooth it comes off. What I didn't show you was me putting this block of wood underneath there and driving it up to break it loose. Looks like we have some rust in there. So I made it look a lot easier than it was. So, gosh, those bearings are smooth. I hate to even mess with it. Also, I need to inspect, make sure I didn't bend up the edge here. Straighten that out. Alright, I am surprised to see rust because I really don't cut wet grass, or I don't know. I do hose it off and clean it up, so I mean that's could be a possibility. The bearing, let me zoom in on the bearing. Mainly to keep me out of the picture. What do you think of that? And it says Pier FHR20516SP, made in China. I don't know if I stuck my face in there. Let's see. Oh, really? Alright, so that is that. That exposes the nuts so I can drop it out the bottom. I still have the blade attached to it. Alright, even though I'm using a 14 millimeter, I measured the bolts and they are clearly standard. The threads are 3/8/16, and it looks like they are torqued down. So let me get these guys out of here. It's going to be close. Let me get this one first. Alright, these look a little smaller. I should measure them, but the guard bolts and the spindle bolt, they were to 3/8/16. I'm going to put my hand on the blade, take this last one out, and out it comes. And am I able to get it up? Get it out? Doesn't look that way. I'm going to have to lift this up a little bit. So I have the deck in the full up position and locked, the parking position or whatever you want to call it. And then I was able to actually lift up the gate by hand to get the spindle out. I didn't have to use a jack or anything. And out it comes. So here we are, plenty of grass on there. Plenty of wet grass. Now what I thought about doing is buying one spindle, installing the new spindle in place, and then overhauling this one and rotating it around. Replace the second one with this spindle, overhaul that one, and replace the third spindle with the second spindle. Okay, 15/16 to get this guy out of here. And I know that's not an impact socket, but Had to use my 1/2-inch impact wrench. Makes life easier. So that is that. Blade looks good. Looks like I haven't hit any rocks yet. And then I did read the blade sharpening instructions. It's really interesting. It did not want you to reproduce this. When you grind it down, it actually showed it at an angle. Think of it as straight and parallel, and then this is a pivot point, and it just comes down like this to maintain your sharp edge on the corner. So that's what they said. Alright, inspect my bolt. I mean, that sees quite a bit of activity. This life is pretty vicious around here. So let me clean this up. I have some cleaning tools I'm going to run on here, see how it works. I mean, this is the biggest if it ain't broke, don't fix it example you could possibly render. So this is just going to be a clean them up, maybe oil them up a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll slap some grease on there like a protective coating or something. So it's just clean. I would have to drive out the shaft in order to get access to the bearings up here. So, and it is so smooth. Here, let me bring it right up to the camera. Oh, that's my glove, hang on. I mean, the only thing you can hear is my glove on there. So these are okay. Alright, blade inspection for all practical purposes is perfect. You can see where some of the paint came off, and down at the very edge you can see it's a little bit thinner than down here, because this is the working end right here. This inch right in here is probably 90% of your work, and the other side, same thing. You can see some paint removal and just a little bit thinner at the edge. No nicks or dings or bangs, so all good. Alright, I'll put the blade back on, and remember it goes up towards the deck. So this is the deck up here. This is the grass down here. And again, with the blade on there, absolutely total silence. Alright, before I slather everything with anti-seize, I'm going to clean up as much as I can. Alright, I have anti-seize all on the contact area and the studs, which don't come out. Looks like they're carriage bolts. And they look semi-permanent. I mean, I'm sure you could get them out if you wanted to. I don't want to. So let's get this guy up in there. Alright, easy peasy. Now this cap goes on top, but I was going to goop it up and then set it in place. That seemed cleaner to me. So on the one hand, yay for me. My bearings are fine. I'll inspect the other ones too, but I don't expect anything. I'm not having any problems. You know. Yay for me, bad for the video. So this is just going to be a disassembly and reassembly. Let's see, am I on camera here? Where are we at? Let me redo that. About that more better. Let's Get this guy in there. And again, this is standard hardware, but I'm using metric tools. No, I mean sockets is what I'm talking about. I have to get a wrench in there or lower the deck, get that last one. Or I could just take the extension off. It's pretty much like I got it. Alright, I have my way more than needed on the cap. And we will put that on there. Thusly. And the key, we'll make sure the key's going in the right direction. I think I'm going to, am I going to lube that up? Let me look at the pulley. No, just the inside of the pulley I might lube up a little bit, which means, let's see, what do I do? If I put some on this end and put it in, it should squish up and lubricate the inside. What do you think of that? Alright, I determined that the key was square, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just get it in here. Get it started. There we go, that looks pretty good. Alright, clean the pulley up, make sure I didn't damage it, make sure it's the same width all the way around. Alright, I had to get clean gloves because the anti-seize was getting all over the place, so just clean this up. Okay, on the bottom sides I put a little anti-seize on there. I don't know whether it touches this or not, but there was no paint on it, so anyway. Also, these holes are solid, so I don't think I would tap them if I needed to use them, but that is a possibility. Looks like maybe 1/4 20 or something like that. And oh my gosh, that went down there nice. Now this cap, you can see how it's shaped. It's going to go on there like that, not like that. Okay, not like that. Like that. And let me clean that up a little bit. Alright, more better. I'm also going to lube this up so that there's a little pocket of lubrication in there. It's just kind of a water rust preventer if water gets in there kind of situation, thought process. So it was easier to do the top than the thrust washer or whatever it's called. Get our bolt in here, start that up. It does sound dry. I'm going to leave it dry. There was a little bit of anti-seize that went down there, so that's going to have to be good enough. I'm going to put the old zippity-doo on. Let me get the, alright, just holding it with my hand. Come on, David. Not on camera. Alright, that did it. Alright, next is belt. So this is going to be pretty easy because all the tension and wrapping it around and everything is going to be done on the center. Alright, I couldn't figure out why I had so much slack in the belt. It came off in the back. So I had to hook that back up. Wrapping everything around, and I will finish it in the front here. Alright, because my gloves kept getting pinched, I'm gonna finish it off by rolling it on the pulley here. Hitting the camera, doing it that way. Next I'll put the guard on. Okay, remember there's like a washer right here. We'll put the plate on, the guard. Safety first and all that. Put our nut on. So I don't have this tool labeled, but if you want to use the correct tool, it's going to be a 9/16 to go on there. Zip it down. And we'll do that 2 more times. Alright, I'm going to tell you right now, if I did find a bearing that was bad, I'd probably just buy a spindle instead of breaking out the press and setting it up and pressing out the bearings or hammering them out, and putting in new bearings and pressing them in. Done all that in my youth, but you know, the older and fatter you get, you know, it's actually designed to be replaced. You know, one of those things. And if you're commercial, this is a home residential. If you're commercial, going to use it 4 years, 5 if you're lucky. Maybe put it in the shop once or twice. Then you're going to buy a new one. I mean, if you're out there mowing every day, you know, from April till October, you're going to buy a new one when things start wearing out. But 62.5 hours on this machine, and the bearings are in tip-top perfect condition, so keep on rolling. And one last time, I apologize for not pressing the bearings out or taking the cover off of them and greasing them up. That's another thing I wanted to show you, but I'm just not going to touch something that doesn't need to be touched. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.